Good evening and welcome to Options Tender. It is Tuesday, 10/10/23. Welcome everybody. If you're new here, go down to that bottom right hand corner, hit that Options Tender logo and subscribe. We're going to go through SPY on multiple timeframes. We're going to go through SPY, QQQ, and check out some indicators on the daily. And then we'll go over to SPY in the 65, QQQ as well, and Tesla also, because that's what everybody has been ranting and raving, the triangle of Tesla. So stick around for that. If you can, please go ahead and hit that like button. It helps us out so much. And if you want to help out even more, go down to the description, and there's several ways you can help this channel out. So we're going to give you so much information, so stick around for all of it. We have SPY on the daily time frame. We have a naked chart here. We had this triangle. We broke down from it. We had divergence, and we're moving up to the upside. We're having a counter trend rally right into the gap area. Got into the gap, but actually was rejected by somewhat. So let's go ahead and go through some of these indicators and see if we can find some information that tells us, hey, are we going to continue to the upside, or is this a reversal back to the downside and perhaps even much, much lower? Okay, so let's go ahead and check out the EMAs. We got up to the 50 EMA, rejected off of it. We're right at that 100 EMA. The simple moving averages, we got above that 20. We're still above it. So this doesn't tell us a whole lot, but that 50 EMA is very important. We have to respect that. We're also in the gap area, so we're rejecting from those. We have a tail candle that's a possible reversal candle. So we have to respect the fact that we have two things. Whenever you have some sort of doji candle, whether it's a tail or a spinning top, anything like that, you have to have confirmation. So we need confirmation to the downside. We have PPI in the morning, so that could be the catalyst to continue to the downside. I do think that's the case as my primary case. We did overall move back to the primary case that we were talking about the last couple weeks. I did get a little bit more conservative, and I thought that we might have had a wave 4, but we're way above the 382, and it just didn't make sense anymore. So we have the simple situation. Even before I get to the Elliott wave count, I just want to say what we're going to be talking about, and that's the fact that we have 1, 2, 3 waves. So the bulls are licking their chops. They're saying, hey, we're going to new highs. Perhaps we are getting this tail candle to reverse it just for a 3-wave move for consolidation, and then we go higher. The bears, myself, my primary count, which was the count before, doesn't matter. We change with the information that we have. And now that we retrace so high, we're looking, and especially if you look at the QQQ, we'll get there, but I'm looking at a 1-2-1-2 setup. Okay, that's much more bearish. That's bad for the bulls if this does reverse and take out the lows. Okay, we're no longer looking for. I mean, there's a slight situation where we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a leading diagonal. We'll look at all the indicators. If we make new lows, we'll look at the indicators, and if we have all these divergences to the upside, then of course that's we'll take off profit and we'll protect ourselves with calls and things like that. But let's not get too far ahead. Let's continue with the indicators. We have the awesome oscillator. We're getting up there. We're starting to push the upside. We're getting green bars. Fine. Let's go back to the naked channel here. Let's go to the Keltner channels. So we broke down underneath. We're finally regaining the Keltner channel. We broke above that moving average. It's the 20 simple moving average. That 20 simple moving average, if we go back in time, it has worked out as being quite the resistance in a downtrend. But when you get a significant bounce, we sometimes actually test above to the top of the channel and then continue lower. But most of the time, we actually retest, especially in the beginning when you're continuing the trend. Again, look at all these. Got above, had a nice candle above, couldn't hold it, broke back down. Candle above, tried to consolidate and broke well above. Again, gapped up and broke back down, couldn't hold it. Okay, that's the beginning stage of this trend on this one. And I think we're in the beginning stage of our trend lower. And after you get to like the third of the third, that's when that 20 really, we didn't even reach to 20 a lot of the times. And you see when you get really, really oversold, I'm sure there's positive divergence there. You tested the top of the Keltner channel. So again, it happened over here. Testing the top, just getting above. Didn't even get above there. But you see my point. We're above it now. On the QQQ, we got to the top of the Keltner channel. We'll look at that later. But check out the Ichimoku cloud. All right, we're back at that resistance there. That's no good. That's no good for the bulls. This to me says, hey, we're really making this cloud. We're really making a bullish attempt here. We got back up to the moving average. We're looking at a reversal. I think the probability is that we get a reversal here. We go much lower. Not much more I want to show you on this one. Let's go ahead and go to QQQ. Then we'll go over to the traditional technical analysis. Again, we have our 3-wave move here. So it looks very innocent, looks very bullish. Got a low, we got a divergent low as a matter of fact. We're testing the downtrend line. We're not right at the downtrend line, but you see we're testing those. You have our moving averages. We're right at the 50. We're still right above the 50 on the simple moving averages. Exponential, we're actually above those. So it's kind of bullish in a sense, but if you start looking a little bit deeper, you get the Keltner channels. We're right at the top. We're right at the top. We came back down through the Keltner channels. So standard deviation move. We're more than one standard deviation below. So we recouped. We use it as support, and we tested the top of the Keltner channel. It's a big move. Okay, I'm still looking at this being a 1-2-1-2 setup now. We go over and we look at the cloud. Wow. We're it seems so bullish that we're on this QQQ. So bullish, yet we're just coming to that cloud area. And if you look in the past, once you start making the cloud, the bearish cloud start to happen, it's really, really, all it is it's just resistance. It's resistance. Any way you go, you can get a little bit above it, but resistance all through here. Resistance. And then when you finally get above it and you start making a bullish cloud, yeah, this is a momentum cloud. We're testing the top of it and reject it off of it. I think we're getting our reverse. I think we're getting our reversal candle. So we're going over to SPY. Let me just close this out so we have a much more clear board. We're checking out this consolidation area. We broke down, had a fake break, came back up, and really we're just testing that head and shoulder breakdown. Yeah, there's a couple different ways you can draw this. I tried to get as many touches as I could from here to here. That's 2, 3, 4, 5 on the gap. Six touches here. And so to me, this is still head and shoulder. It looks different on SPX and different on ES as well. But it's just a reference, okay? A zone, a pivot. So don't take that for too much. But the fact is we're back into this consolidation zone. We're actually right about the middle. Anytime you have a zone like this, you have a middle portion where we could draw some sort of dotted line, but we came back to the middle portion. If we break back down from here, then we're going much lower, okay? It's as simple as that. So I just wanted to keep it in mind while we're showing this time frame. Let's go ahead and go to trend as our friend. We want to show a couple different indicators. We're starting to get the daily time frame MACD crossover, but we're still in the bearish territory. So, we got to take it for what it's worth. We're not quite oversold yet. We're at the 68, but sometimes we'd only get to, if you're in a bearish pattern, a bearish trend, sometimes you only get to the 60. Okay, we're up here in overbought territory in the stochastic RSI, so something to look for. We might just get an early sell signal, really early. We might have more room to run according to these indicators. So just something to check out. We had our bullish on the stochastic area. We're getting to the oversold point. We're reaching it just today and rejecting. So it's going to be a really big deal in what happens tomorrow. If we get a PPI or the CPI on Thursday and it goes pretty aggressive to the downside, then you'll negate all of this stuff. Okay, this will start to come down. We'll get sell signals. We'll get sell signals. All sorts of things. But for now, yes, we're looking slightly more bullish. You bring up the Williams percent. We had slight divergence here. Yesterday's candle, we came up to resistance and we made a high in the Williams percent. And this is one of my indicators that I use often for reversals. And we actually have a negative divergence here as well. So something to keep in mind on the Williams percent. Starting to get our cross on the MACD. If you're looking at the ADX, we're not trending right now. We're trending when we're going down. This is what this is telling us. When we're headed to the downside, we're trending. And I think we're just trying to make a higher low here, and then we start trending again. So yes, we did come back down when we're starting to make our move to the upside, but I do think this continues to the upside. We'll have to see. We'll have to monitor that. The McClellan oscillator, we're getting almost to the oversold area. We were way oversold, and perhaps we're in a downtrend and we're already in the oversold territory. We're not oversold as in the 90 percentile, but we're getting way up there already. We were simply in all the indicators, we were really oversold in this whole move getting down here, and I think we worked off all of those conditions at this point. And so it makes sense for us to consider ourselves in a downtrend, and we worked off the conditions, and we can continue to the downside. The McClellan summation index, where stocks are still just terrible. The breadth is just terrible. So it's still down here. It's starting to peak up a little bit, but we have more room to go. It's just a really weak market. So we have nothing to really grasp onto for the bullish aspect, even though there is a bullish count to the upside. Okay, we're not going to go through QQQ because it basically says the same thing. But what we will do is go to the 65-minute and check out the Elliott wave counts. Okay, so what we're talking about to our members today was the move here. We had our initial move. We talked about it yesterday. We had our initial move. That's a impulsive move. Three-wave move back. Impulsive move down. And we thought, hey, this might be an ABC retracement. So we do think that our impulsive move down here ended here still. I can count all 5 waves here. Then we had a 3-wave move up right to the head and shoulders. back test here, also into the gap. We're rejecting off of it, and we're forming a wedge. We have points here, 1, 2, 3, 4 points here, so it counts as resistance, and then we broke down from the accelerated move here. I said that it was not sustainable. We had an accelerated move. Yes, we can make higher lows and continue the upside. That's possible if this is a bullish situation. If we're in a bullish setup, then we will go higher. But I look at it as if we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 setup, and then we at least at minimum, and we'll go over to the L8 wave. At minimum, I think we have an ABC correction for a wave 2. I don't have it written down here. This is my primary from yesterday. We're changing this primary, and we'll look at it on the QQQ. It'll be much more clear. But I'm looking at this as being a 1, 2, 1, 2. This being expanded flat, but this being a wave 2 finish. And I do think we could get up here to the 50%, perhaps tomorrow. Maybe we make one more high. I can't count that really in here so much, but I think we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 where we're finishing already, and perhaps we have one more slight move up. And we're looking at this being a 1, 2, 1, 2, and we'll fix that tonight going into tomorrow. But if we break down from here, at minimum, if you're a bull, okay, let me get that out there. At minimum, this is an impulsive move up, a 5-wave move up. If you're a bull, you're going to get some sort of retracement, and that could be to the 50, 60% retracement. You have a lot of confluence here, and then you continue higher, right? So we took a trade on. We took several trades, and we're looking at least for the pullback. We'll get out of those trades. We'll protect our positions, but I do think we continue lower. Okay, let's jump over to QQQ. And we'll get just a little bit better point of view of what I'm talking about for the more bearish situation. Now, it's still, in a way, we could still have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move down and just kind of fill out this pennant that's forming this falling wedge, and then have a retracement and go much lower. That could be a leading diagonal. And we'll check it out on Tesla. And Tesla's the real reason why I think that's not the case. I think we're in a 1, 2, 1, 2 setup. We formed a wedge. We have points here. Point 1, 2, 3, 4. We rejected off it. We're getting underneath the fast trend line here. And I think we're going to start heading down lower. If we go down to the Elliott wave, again, I had to adjust these and move these and see, hey, where are we at? Well, we rejected off that 618. So on the daily time frame, we had a nice rejection off the 618 or the 4-hour. Couple different time frames. On the higher time frames, we rejected off the 618, and in the hourly, in the 65-minute, as we're going throughout the day, we're like, man, we're getting above the 618, no problem. It feels like we're going to continue higher. We added on another short position at the 618, but we closed underneath. That says to me that on the daily, 4-hour, 2-hour, we're probably underneath. We rejected with the tail candle underneath the 618 retracement. And to me, that's a deep retracement. I think we have a 1, 2. And if you notice in the yellow, so white, 1, 2, yellow, 1, 2, where we have an A, B in the turquoise, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the turquoise, or the yellow, excuse me, to wave 2, and we continue much lower. That's a much more bearish situation that we're looking for. If we had a deeper retracement, which we were playing the shorter retracement, and so yes, we had to take some pain on some of our trades, but we didn't trade all of it at once. We kept some powder, and so we have a 1, 2, 1, 2 possibility, and then the only other situation, we go much lower from here. This is a very bearish situation, being a 1, 2, 1, 2, because now we have to get into this intense wave 3. It was going to be much more intense than the last situation that we're in, that we were talking about yesterday and during the weekend. Okay, but now we have to at least present, well, what if it keeps going higher? And that's what I'll show you right here. We have our alternate situation. I wasn't even going to look at this, but you know, everybody's talking about it because everybody seems to be bullish these days. Is, you know, we had our correction. It's a 3-wave move. We have our correction. Let's look at this alternate situation. What we're looking for, the alternate situation, is we came back to the 50% retracement. We have A, B, C with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave move down. And we're even anticipating a quick wave 4 to the downside, but now we know in the bullish scenario we already got our wave 5 in. Okay, so that means C is done. We have our A, B, C correction done, and what bulls are looking at are a 5-wave impulsive move in here to start off this trend to the upside. So we have our first wave 1, we're going to pull back to wave 2, and we're going to continue higher to new highs. I don't think that's the case, but if price does pull back and starts going higher, at least we know how to turn around and turn our trades into something positive that will keep us on the right side of the chart. So that's the most important thing, you guys, is to stay with it. If you were wrong, which we anticipated a shorter retracement, but we continued higher. Now we present ourselves with more information, and now we're looking at a 1, 2, 1, 2, and we go much lower, much faster. But we have different scenarios in mind. What if we keep going higher? Then we're going to follow that trend. We're traders. That's what we do. And also, just the least likely situation is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where we get 5 waves where we overlap. So that would be a leading diagonal, and then we retrace and go much lower. So keep all those in mind. Primary being a 1, 2, 1, 2. We'll probably check things out. I think we'll probably get most of that information from PPI tomorrow. Might start us off, but really CPI is what everybody is focused on. So going into Wednesday before the bell, that's what people will probably really be focused on. All right, so with the VIX, we're making higher highs and higher lows. We had our lowest point here in quite some time. We had a 5-wave move up, and we did have a correction down. I don't know if this correction's over. Perhaps we get a nice bounce and we go lower, or a correction's over at this point. It could be because we have a 3-wave move to the downside. Maybe an A. We had a gap up for B, an impulsive move down for C. So this could be over, or this could be part of a larger move down to close this little gap here. So we'll keep that in mind. It just depends what price action's going. So, we need more information, but we are playing to the downside at this point. If you're a bull or bear, we think that we're getting a retracement in the overall market. So let's go to the last thing that we want to talk about, and that was Tesla. And Tesla is giving us a situation where I think this is primarily, and Apple can act the same way. We talked about Apple yesterday, but I think Tesla has this primary situation where, my gosh, it's really, really consolidating in this triangle. But I think we have our impulse move down for a 1, a retracement. We have an ABC for an A B triangle, and a 5-wave move up for C for wave 2. And then we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 impulse move to the downside for a 1, and we're retracing again back to the upside into this triangle action, and we have a B, triangle B, C, so that's a zigzag, and then for a larger wave, A, and then we have, again, a triangle, which is really confusing because the triangle ended here in a C, so we had an A, B, C, D, E, where we had gapped down a little bit, and price took off, and that one bar